I'm gobsmacked. Multi-retro man here. You see my t-shirt? Yeah, I just thought I'm just doing a quick video on a quick sort of, well, a whim really, you know, but I've just thought I'd do a quick video. I'm quite surprised now. The Xbox Series X, there's a release price on it. Now, I thought myself thinking, you know, new console, etc., etc. Sony's PlayStation 5, maybe £600 mark, because obviously it's going to be fantastic, you know, graphics, etc., etc., etc. The Xbox Series X, I thought would be maybe 550, maybe 600, the same. I've just had an email from, let's just say, a well-known place. £449.99. So call it 450. £450. I think that is priced very, very reasonably and very attractively. However, the problem I've got is how good is it going to be compared to PS5, and how good is it going to be with regards backward compatibility. And one thing that I would have really liked or hoped there would be compatibility with Steam. Because, I mean, I've got games on my laptop that are, some of them are free, you know, latest games free, really good games, but I can't play them because my laptop's not powerful enough. I mean, it's a 10-year-old machine, if not more. So I think that if they could do Steam on the Xbox Series X, that would be fantastic. Don't think they're going to do, but £450, I think that's quite an attractive offer. And then when you consider trading, I mean, I've just seen the email now. I've just clicked on it, and the email's just popped up. There's no other things on here. And that's to pre-order. Okay, so that's a pre-order price, which I never do anyway, because I always think it's a bit, you know, there could be some issues with power or whatever, you know, when they come out. But I think that is an amazing price for this new console that's going to come out, if it's going to do, you know, ray tracing, that type of stuff. And if the games are going to look absolutely amazingly fantastic, I think they could be onto a good thing there. But the only issue that we've got in a minute, and I've not done a video about this before, is when I've seen videos about the PS5 and like the Tomb Raider stuff, they've been showing you how you're playing the game and how they've done it. The Xbox Series X, though, doesn't really have that many, if you like, killer titles or whatever, or killer things to show how really good it is. So I think that's probably going to put some people off. But the price is quite good. So I think it'll probably sell quite well, actually. But Microsoft have got to market it properly as well, and show what games are capable of doing. And hopefully it'll succeed and keep going like it does. Like the Xbox One X, I mean. Well, I'm just got a bit more information about it. It's got DirectX ray tracing, which, you know, means obviously, you know, the games look a lot better with regard, like, you know, puddles, that type of stuff, lighting on, you know, reflective surfaces, that type of stuff. And the other thing it's also got, which going to the website here, Xbox Velocity architecture. So it says huge gaming worlds like Assassin's Creed, etc. Demand processing power. And it says with the Xbox Velocity architecture, your games will stream while you're playing. So it says, so whilst you're playing, cut scenes and loading of expansionables are seamless. So which obviously means you're not going to have to wait between the things. Quick resume. It says with the new Xbox, you can quickly switch between multiple games from a suspended state almost immediately. So that's essentially going from one thing to another, and then so it says you'll resume exactly where you left off, and what you're doing without waiting. So that's quite good. Dynamic latency input DLI. Now that is for the for this HDMI 2.1. And it says, in simple terms, combining DLI and HDMI 2.1 gaming means your controller action will be synchronized super fast between controllers, console, and to your TV. And then very so essentially what they're saying is that if you've got that cable, it should work better with your TV. But then again, it depends on how quick your TV is to refresh. Because if you've got a slow refresh TV, it's probably not going to make much difference anyway. But time will tell. In addition to the other one, I've only just noticed one thing on here. I thought it was something different, but not only is an Xbox Series X, there's also going to be an Xbox Series S, which I just don't understand. I mean, it looks To me, looking at the Xbox Series S, I'll show you just if you can see the screen on there, look. To me, that looks like a speaker. It doesn't look like a games console, it looks like a speaker. Yeah, and I'm like, I can't say I'm a fan of it. I don't think it looks particularly nice. And then you've got the Xbox Series X, which obviously you've seen loads of times. And there you go, side by side. I think they, I personally, I think they look horrible. I don't like the look of them at all, either of them, especially not the speaker one. Although the speaker one does look better than the other one, which isn't really saying a lot, because I'm not very keen on that either. So I think the PS5 is going to look 10 times better than the Xbox One. However, looks aside, you know, if they play the games really, really well, then I think they're on to a winner. If they don't, though, it could be a big, big failing, and they might end up reducing the price of it to, say, 300 quid, something like that. Hopefully see how it goes. Yeah, one of the, I forgot to mention as well, the pricing of the Xbox Series S, this what I call the speaker, £250. Well, there's not really too much spec on it, other than that it's a digital only thing. Right, just had a look, and it will do 1440p gaming at 60 frames a second and also 120. Now what that is, it's kind of between the normal 1080p and 4K, so it's kind of, you know, it's between that, and it also uses this upscaling feature to upscale the games to 4K, so you're not getting true 4K, but you're probably getting just as good as 4K with it, which ain't bad. It'll also have 10 gig of memory, whereas the other one's got more, so it's like a bit of a standoff really. But then it doesn't need all that extra memory because it's not playing in proper 4K mode, so it's kind of less, so that it counteracts, I suppose it counteracts for each one, you know. But the games will play exactly the same apart from the screen resolution, because that's also got the ray tracing capabilities as well. So now I've looked at that, I think that's going to probably sell very, very, very well, and I think that's going to be a sort of a big kick towards Sony for that, because, you know, if they're only producing the PS5 and no other one, I think Microsoft are doing really well, and I think they've got it quite right. The guy on the video, though, his beard was like down to there. Not that, you know, I'm not going against beards, but the first thing you immediately see is his beard. So check out the video on the, if you can see it on the other YouTube. Especially considering the price point at £250, because if you're like on a tight budget, or you're thinking you want something but you're not too bothered, I think that's probably going to sell more, or probably sell better than the Xbox One X. Sorry, Xbox Series One. Hang on, Xbox One X. That's it. Do you know, I wish they changed the names of these, because to me now, another thing which I've thought about, it doesn't even look like an Xbox. You know, it's not an Xbox anymore. It doesn't look like an Xbox. So why could they not? They should have changed the whole lot. They changed the name, I think. You know, they should have called it Box. You know, or Box 3 or something. You know, rather than Xbox, because it isn't an Xbox. Oh well. The other thing as well, which is quite interesting looking on the website, is that it's saying you can get EA Play with the Xbox Game Pass Ultimate for no extra cost. So that's what they're saying there, is that you can play games like FIFA 20 and not have to pay any extra. So you pay for the Xbox Game Pass Ultimate and you don't have to pay any extra for that for EA games, which is quite a good feature, I suppose. But then with the cost of that's going to be compared to like Xbox Live Gold, which I'm quite happy at. I mean, I did have the Game Pass before, you know, and it was all right, but I suppose it depends on how much it's going to cost really altogether. But I think it's quite a nice, attractive package if you're just starting out gaming and you want something that's going to be really good. The Xbox, I mean, that's quite a good, attractive package. But I'm not quite sure. There doesn't really say much comparing the two specs. You know, the Xbox Series X compared to the Xbox Series S. It just gives you the specifications of the Xbox Series X. You know, and I'm not going to go into much details on there. I mean, it's got 16 gigabytes of GDDR6 memory, which is obviously going to be really good for the machine. I wonder what storage it's got. It's got a 1 terabyte custom NVMe SSD, which, you know, SSD is supposed to load quicker. Now, this is quite an interesting thing. It says the performance target. So a target is obviously something that you want to try and achieve. So it's not saying performance that it will get, it's saying what the target is aiming. So it's not necessarily confirming that's what it's going to have. The performance target is 4K at 60 frames a second with up to 120 frames a second. Now that's good. If it can do that, now it's pretty good. But compared to the Xbox One X, it's not really that big a jump up. I mean, the Xbox One X can do 30 frames a second, which is more than good for games. You know, I mean, obviously, if you're into like shooting games, you probably want 60 frames a second. But things like driving games, like I've had before playing on Forza Horizon 4, that's been brilliant. You know, that is really good, especially in 4K. I mean, I've not played on 60 frames a second, which does look nice. And I suppose that it will be really good to do that. But could you justify spending another £450 to be able to do that? I'm not sure. And the Xbox Series S, obviously, that's digital only. So you can. So if you've got any like games that you've already got already, you'll not be able to use them. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens with that Xbox Series S. So if it's any good, you know, people, I think that'll probably sell because of the price. But I think when people are going to get it home, they might find a less attractive price. So what are your thoughts on this? Do you think it's going to sell well? Do you not think it's well? Would you prefer the PS5? Personally, looking at it, I would. If they said to me, which would you want? I'd go for the PS5 just because I've seen the gameplay on it. However, I've got a lot more games on the Xbox One X. I've not played my PS4 for donkeys. It's going to be a tricky situation. I mean, I think it's going to all come down on pricing of the PS5. So if it's going to be a good price, I think the PS5 is going to do really well as well. And people that's got PS4 would probably get the PS5 because they've already seen the big difference in the two. Because mine's just a normal PS4, not the PS4 Pro. So yeah, let me know your thoughts and comments. And if you like this video and you found it interesting, give it a like or thumbs up. If you didn't like it, give it a thumbs down. And by all means, just give me comments if you didn't like it or what you did like about it, and I'll gladly have a look at it and reply back. Thank you very much. Cheers. Hi guys. Now, these are the headphones I've got. They've got like 7.1 surround. I've got them very cheap off and some of the Facebook quite a while ago. Bought a job lot or something, I think. And they are called Onykuma something. What is it? Onykuma K9s. Now the thing is, I use it with my Xbox One X controller here, which has got the, you know, the sort of the headphone jack on the bottom. So the only problem was the cables were getting a little bit caught, you know, when I was using it. Because obviously, if I'm playing a game or something, I tend to have it resting against my tummy, because obviously we've got things. So what I bought is this. It's an adapter off an eBay. Brilliant little thing. So when you put it into the controller, it's now not resting on my tummy. So it helps save the thing as well. And you know, it's a really good little tool. I think it only costs about 90. I think about £1 with delivery. So, and it works really well. Works perfect. So, good purchase.